Hello and welcome to EFAP episode 342's Superchat Catchup, where we talked about Lilo and Stitch, both the new and the old, as well as this being the episode where they fucking began the weird community tab thing on our chat. I think a lot of
the
these
leaderboard.
initial messages are going to be about, because people don't know what the fuck it means or what's going on. And I happen to know through premiering and streaming some stuff here and there on the Moolah channel. It's not even on there yet, so I guess it is getting rolled out slowly.
It wasn't. It wasn't on. I almost said Lilo and Stitch. Stitch and Adams. Their other channel didn't have it either on Thursday. So,
Only
that's a lot of
special
the stuff they roll
selection.
out. That's a lot. That's a lot of the stuff they roll out. I think is here and there. Oftentimes they don't do it all at once.
Well, they've started doing it with automatic translations, haven't they? Like dubbing into other languages, which you can now turn on. But I think that's being rolled out slowly as well. I've never heard a video dubbed into it yet, and I'm kind of interested to hear what it sounds like because I want to see if they try and keep your voice when they do it, or if like it's just new. I want Indian me basically. I think that could be fun.
I heard it once. I heard someone do it to Ryan Kinnell, like a Spanish of him, and it sounded decently like him. It sounded decently close.
Well, we won't need to do a French version of You, will we, Platoon? That's already taken care of.
That's right.
So the first message is "Gimme my XP," which we wouldn't even clear out how that works. It was like messages sent versus super chat sent versus time spent in the chat. It's unclear right now. We'll figure it out eventually, I'm sure.
I certainly hope it doesn't just encourage people to spam random bullshit in the chat, and that they keep it to like staying topical and everything. I don't want people to just be like, word stuff things. I got to be on top.
Yeah, I mean, we could just do without it in general, but again, we'll have to see how it evolves.
Maybe we'll get some positives out of it. I don't know. Maybe.
I want to be number one. I think that's the idea. They gamify it, so they make you all want to be number one. Very clever.
And beforehand, you were all number one in our hearts, but now we're going to get to discover who's actually number one.
Are y'all going to see the articles saying how this ending is more realistic? It's crazy the depths people go to defend New Disney. Realistic.
I mean, it's realistic in terms of if it was a different story, it would be more realistic to a different story.
Yeah,
also
yeah,
realistic,
like it's
like using the portals and the aliens and
a real ending if she's Nani's a cunt. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. Fair.
Well, a real ending would be her just going to Hawaii's college down the street or whatever, where she could do that during the day or whatnot.
Well, that's to be solved once you get to the point of her deciding that she doesn't want to deal with her family anymore, which the film is very consistent about. Every time it's suggested she doesn't have to deal with Lilo anymore, she's like, ooh, oh, that sounds like good stuff, yes. I'm bored with that. And it's like, oh, great.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with her either.
There's a scene in the sequel where Jumba says he's proud of Stitch for moving beyond his programming, and another he thinks Stitch is dead and cradles him in his arms like a grieving father. Remember this. Oh, you're talking about like Lilo and Stitch 2.
Yeah, I mean, they ruined Jumba.
Jumba's fucked now,
yeah.
Which is funny because they like, what do you think the likelihood is on a Lilo and Stitch 2 live action?
Very, I think it's basically guaranteed.
What the fuck are they going to do? They can't adapt the sequel now. They fucked up everything.
Well, I wonder whether they will even bother doing that, or whether because Jumba gets taken away and put in prison, he comes back as the villain in a live-action Lilo and Stitch 2.
I'm not sure, because I imagine they'd want to do the whole thing that they did with the show of the other experiments, so, you know, they probably will just bring him back. And maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll change their mind and be like, all right, let's get Gantu in there so that they'll shut up about him. You know, they keep complaining.
And it's just a guy with a fin on his head. That's the only, like, prosthetic.
Yeah, it's a shark guy.
Whoever
Whoever was in the mocap suit for King Shark, they just have him come out in that suit.
The guy from Peacemaker was in that suit, if I remember correctly. But Stallone was a voice, right? Funny.
I imagine Stallone didn't do it.
He should have. He should have committed.
That would have been
I want to
funny,
see the pictures. Yeah, I want to see him in that suit.
I have no self-control. Many of us don't in aspects of life. How it goes. YouTube.
By the way, wouldn't that make Stallone is officially in both the Marvel and DC cinematic universe?
Yeah, that's right.
Not anymore, though. I guess they would swap into a new DCEU or whatever. But he
Well, at this
was.
point,
Well, no,
he's-
Yeah,
he'd still be
that's
in
true.
it because all the James Gunn stuff is going to remain canon. Because
Oh, okay.
because that's a choice that he's making.
At the same time, I don't think we'll
Okay.
be seeing either Stallone character probably again, King Shark nor Bounty Hunter.
Probably not. Probably not.
We'll see. If it is, it'll be a while from now. Thanks again for the extensive Andor coverage. No problemo. We quite
yeah.
enjoyed
I mean,
Andor.
glad
Andor
to
coverage.
talk about it.
This movie is genuinely one of the most vile things I think I've ever seen. In my opinion, this is the worst remake. Everything about it is wrong. Did we decide what the worst remake is currently?
The thing
I
is, we
say
still
it's
got
Lilo
more
and
that we need to
Stitch.
watch. That's because there are some that are particularly held
I mean,
in
Mulan is up there.
low regard. Well, I haven't
Mulan-
seen that, so I wasn't part of that one.
Oh, Milan
So-
is it's so different from the original that it's kind of in a way I think that gives it some level of protection, whereas Lilo and Stitch is trying for the most part
Cruella
to
was
be
pretty awful. Remember?
Yeah, but it's
Cruella was pretty bad.
it's not a remake so much as a prequel. Does that count? Does Cruella count as
yeah,
being
these are
in the
all.
running?
I consider these all to be in competition. They're all effectively the same thing. Like Maleficent stuff like this, they're all part of the same club, even with their differences.
Well,
Hmm.
yeah. I guess
I still think I'd say Lilo and Stitch.
I mean, it might.
I mean, right now it's probably is the one that I hate the most. But there's still more that we got to. There's more that we got to cover.
I'm surprised. Like, surely Lion King is going to be.
Lion King. Well, yeah, because something I was thinking about is the butchering of songs is something that you don't have to think about as much with Lilo and Stitch, except for the misuse of specific like licensed music, right? But like be prepared. Getting ruined. That's got to be bad for that movie, in terms of how it's gonna sort of stack up.
Mhm. Yeah. YouTube decided, let's beat Twitch. I mean, yeah, with a lot of stuff. Been trying to catch up on their side, but Twitch never caught up with YouTube on their lacking elements. So
No.
at this point,
no.
YouTube just snatched the best shit from Twitch, at least from their POV. Can I exchange the XP for a vial of Fringy's goo?
Nah.
Hmm?
Just
Apparently not.
take the experience points.
Oh, Metal is back. Did he bring your shoes back? Yes, there was a theory that he and I had fallen out, and I suggested that it's because he stole my shoes. That's probably right. So obviously we sorted it all out, so it's all good now. Can't
You
wait.
don't really have to steal both of someone's shoes, really. You could just steal the one.
That's
Save
worse in a
yourself
way.
some of the trouble. Yeah, I know.
So if you just
I think it
steal
is
one
worse.
shoe,
They'll drive
it's
you
like-
wild.
Yeah, you're just doing it out of spite. You're not gaining anything from that.
I mean, it was a joke in the original Lilo and Stitch. One of the things that Stitch would
steal
do is he'd
everybody's
cause
left
chaos
shoe.
by
Oh, yeah.
stealing everyone's left shoe.
I always wanted them to pay that off. Like, just at some point he's holding, or you see like he's got like 3 shoes next to his bed or
Yes,
something.
randomly. Yeah.
I can't wait for sex
Not bad.
bots to be leaders in every chat. Oh, that's great, isn't it?
They've done a pretty good job at getting rid of the bots. They used to be a real problem, but they seem to have stamped down on them pretty hard.
Testing if this is pay to win. I'm assuming it is in some form. It was confusing to track it though. Points.
Surely, I would say that's got to be like the primary reason would be, to get
think
people to send more super chats, right?
I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, if you hover over it and you haven't sent any messages, it's like you can immediately gain 50 experience points by sending a super chat, or you can just be a peasant and send no money and accrue very small amounts over time. They definitely want you to, pay to win. Great fun. Exactly what
It's
chat
not
needed.
even because one of the things, like, it's obviously it's a gamification of it, but there is also the aspect of it seems to reset every live stream, which is it's not going to be some badge that you have on your YouTube account or your chat account or something that you could dress up your profile with. It really is just for that one stream.
Yeah, because that's probably better.
That is probably better.
If you don't do it, if you don't do it that way, then it locks people out in a way that they can't be competitive. Like even like 2 streams later, a new viewer would never be able to be competitive again
You
unless they were
think
giving like an insane amount of money.
you think, and not to suggest ways to gamify it further, but what they might do is like if you win can't believe I'm saying those words. If you win a chat over the course of a stream, the experience points reset, but like you gain something that carries over that you can just keep on your profile or
Show that you
whatever.
have
Like
one. That's a
you've
very
got
big gamer
15
thing.
stars.
Yeah,
Ugh.
like it's a like a roguelikey kind of, or just like you upgrade your profile over time. But here's how many times you were number one. Here's how many times on this person's channel you've been number one. And so it's like whenever you go to a live stream on this channel, it will show da da da, but maybe it won't show that for other channels that you go to.
Well, they have many people working on this to gamify it as best as possible at YouTube headquarters. We wish them the best of luck to not ruin everything. Points for the points god. YouTube video limit used to be only 10 to 15 minutes. Yes, it did. Long time ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
More like YouTube threatened me if I didn't donate, they wouldn't move me up the leaderboard. Sad face. Wow. Sounds like YouTube. Those nasty folk. When will YouTube add a parry mechanic? I don't know. I have to wait for that one, I think.
Good point.
Delta Rude next week. Cover it, you massives. Delta Rude?
No, because then I'd probably have to play all of Undertale too.
Oh, right, that's the
And I don't-
Undertale one, right? Yeah, I said
I don't think
which not really a thing that the four of us have much interest in, I'm afraid. But I hope everyone likes it as much as they're looking to. Is it like a
I hope
sequel?
everyone enjoys it. I have no
I don't know if
idea.
it's a sequel or if it's like just the next thing from that
A spiritual
developer
successor.
that
Right. Lilo and Stitch TV show experiment 113, aka Shoe. It was a shoe experiment. Alright.
I don't remember much about the show.
Lilo and Stitch TV show experiment 102, aka Stop Go. Lilo and Stitch TV show experiment 020, aka Slick. I'm assuming these are all like little memes that happen or something.
Yeah, like little creatures. They're the other experiments.
626. Has EFAP watched Once Upon a Studio, the Disney short film made for their centennial? It's 80% hand-drawn with a lot of love for obscure characters. No, I haven't seen it.
I have not.
I've
Yeah,
heard
I
of it.
haven't seen it.
I don't know, just anything they put out themselves these days, you have an automatic sort of like, there's an ick to it. What are your top 3 favorite Disney films?
Top 3 favorite: Wall-E, The Incredibles. What's number 3 gonna be?
Captain America: Brave New World?
Honorable mention.
Honorable mention, okay.
Might be Lion King. I was thinking about whether or not it would be another Pixar movie. What would actually end up number 3? Because those first 2 is really secure. It's the third one that feels like it could be a few things. It could be Toy Story 2, could be The Lion King, could be Lilo and Stitch, could be Aladdin.
I mean, The Lion King is a safe one to default to, but I'd have to really think about let's see. Because there's a lot to sift through in your head as to which ones are the best, and a lot of them I haven't seen in a while. Because I haven't seen, like, if I was gonna rank stuff like, Treasure Planet or Atlantis or something, I'd be like, oh, I just have to see them again to make sure. I don't think Cars is gonna make the cut.
No,
Or it's not gonna be like Oliver and
but I mean, I'm still
Company
thinking it's
or
like Monsters Inc., Ratatouille.
This does open up
Finding
into
Nemo.
Marvel, right? Like Civil War would be in there.
Oh God.
Yeah, it does. But that's true that Marvel is there, but I don't know that it's gonna break through the sort of Pixar wall
because
that is there for me. Yeah, that Pixar wall's really strong.
it might. I mean, as far as favorites go, there's some that have a really like high ranking in my head in terms of how much I like them. So like The Emperor's New Groove is one that I really really like. That I wouldn't say it's one of the best, but it's really good, and I think it's hilarious, and I really love it, and a lot of stuff they do in it. But fuck, because there's all sorts of there's like Brother Bear and the fuck what's the God? There's a bunch. The Great Mouse Detective is one of my favorites, and Aristocats. Fuck, Hunchback of Notre Dame. There's a
There's
bunch. That's the thing.
almost too many. I'm struggling just to narrow it
Yeah.
down.
They're all very high as well. Like when you look like Pocahontas, Robin Hood, Hercules, The Rescuers Down Under, Great Mouse Detective.
Well, the
I mean,
Rocketeer
The
is
Sword in the
Disney,
Stone,
right?
I love. Ooh, I don't know, actually.
Yeah,
Like, I love The
Rocketeer is
Sword in the
Disney.
Stone. That might be one of my favorite. It is one of my favorites, but it's not top 3. Milan. Yeah, it'd probably be like Milan or Lion King. Might be the. Oh, fuck.
That's the thing I'm realizing is if number 3 isn't another Pixar film, would be one of the Renaissance films.
I think so
Lion
too,
King,
yeah.
Aladdin, Mulan, one of those.
Hmm.
I think I'm
Probably.
gonna go. Do I pick Mulan or Lion King? If I'm kind of going
It's
with a
probably.
casual.
I think the reality for me is it probably is Lion King when I think about how formative that one was. Because I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of like, well, what about the other ones? Because they were also pretty formative and relevant and and great. But it probably is Lion King.
Oh,
I
fuck.
always, I
It
think
might
Lion
be
King sort
Sword
of
in the
just
Stone for me, now that I think about it a little bit. I love the Sword in the Stone.
It is worth, I think, mentioning. It's more of an honorable, but Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one is.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a fair call because I was wondering about what of those Disney live action films because they're that they do exist and some of them don't suck.
that might be a fair
What
way to do
about
it. Like one classic, one Pixar, one live action might be a nice way of like
Hmm.
simplifying the task. In which case, I'd probably go for like 101 Dalmatians. I think was my favorite as a kid, probably still is, as the
fair,
classic.
yeah.
Then Incredibles is the Pixar type, and then maybe it is Pirates is the live action.
First Pirates is pretty fucking cool. Well then. Alrighty. Cheers, everyone. The original Lilo and Stitch movie and the animated series that followed were a treasured part of my childhood. The remake is pain. Yeah, it does kind of go like that. Remember, everyone, give your kids to the state. Lilo and Stitch, 2025. Yeah, I mean, lucky
It's a
the
bit
neighbor was
strange.
there to just immediately go from the state to them, but otherwise, that would have been an even more awkward ending, huh? Like, if the neighbor wasn't there, the state would have been like, well, time to separate you guys. Happy ending.
She'd agreed. She had basically agreed to give Lilo away before
Yes.
knowing that the neighbor was the one either. So it's just like
Yes.
anyone can take her. I don't really care, but if it's the neighbor, I guess it's a bonus.
She like lights up at the notion. Oh, that takes the pressure off me. Oh, thank goodness. I would have liked for this to be an EFAP movies on Mulan. Perhaps in the future, we've done that.
We have.
There is an EFAP
I mean,
movies on Mulan.
You're in luck, my dude.
They mean in the same vein. Not so. So they mean for Lilo and Stitch, but like Mulan. So not impossible that we would do that down the line, but at this point, a little bit redundant. I feel like, in a way, this format I think was a better shout this time around because of just how much we had to say. Meanwhile, if
And I
it were
think
running
it's
with the movies, we'd be cramming commentary in.
Yeah, the fact that it was so close to the plot for the most part of the original, it made it kind of easier to be sort of a blueprint to follow through with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which you couldn't have done that for like Milan, for instance. You got to just tackle each one completely individually.
Also, watch Dead Right. The whole 40-minute film is on YouTube. All right.
DEADRIGHT.
Apparently.
Dead Right. A 1993 short film by Edgar Wright.
I've seen Edgar
Yeah,
Wright's short film about a serial killer, and it relates to cereals, not cereal. Because it's funny. What do you prefer? Who do you prefer, Stitch or Sitch? Well, old Disney Stitch, then Sitch, then new Disney Stitch. That's the order, okay? Look, Sitch is cool, but he's never going to be able to compare to peak Stitch, alright? Everyone likes that guy. And he's an alien, so that's just the cool factor blowing him out of the water. But he's definitely better than the new one. Most everyone is. Winnie the Pooh 2011 came out the same weekend as Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2. Very bad timing, laugh my ass off.
Yeah, that was a good idea. Jeez.
Winnie the Pooh that can take on the juggernaut that is Harry Potter.
I believe in you, Pooh.
I believe in Pooh.
Misa is big doo-doo face with small wee-wee. Alright.
Interesting.
Yeah. Lilo and Stitch TV show experiments 149 and 150. It doesn't say what they are, it just says them. Oh, okay. How many of Disney's Golden Age movies do you guys own? Would you recommend trying to collect them now despite increasing prices? Kinda.
Maybe if you can get the original versions of it in particular.
I mean, just judge for yourselves. If you have the money and it's something that you really, really want to sort of keep, cherish, and pass down to next generation sort of thing, I mean, it does block them from being, fucking manipulated permanently. A lot of people were like almost happy to see that the copy of Lilo Stitch I had was the one that hadn't been changed. Well, yeah. The preference. Same goes for like Star Wars. There's fucking million versions of that. Blade Runner. You want to grab the one that you believe is the most important / the original, whatever choice you want to make. But would I recommend it? It's like, well, for the things you love the most, probably, yeah. Just, don't choose it over eating food or something. Shelter. Be careful.
Unless you're a real fan.
Mm-hmm. The Barbie movie arc begins when? Also, hi, Rags.
Hello. I don't think I probably wouldn't hold my breath on that one. Although it is definitely something that I'm considering in the future of doing because I watched so many of them as a young lad as I was growing up because my sisters would, watch it. And so all you people out there who are siblings, you just watch the stuff that your siblings watch a lot of the times. You're around it, so yeah.
What does Ohana mean in 2025? I mean, everyone's made the joke already.
We found out, yeah. Marine biology.
Fun fact on Kauai, a hurricane released a bunch of chickens and they don't have any natural predators there, so now there's wild chickens on the island. You'll be hiking in the jungle and a family of chickens will walk by. That sounds kind of nice if hopefully there's nothing horrible that happens as a result of that.
I feel like we talked about this during the episode.
Bit,
yeah.
That there would absolutely be consequences for that.
If I'm not mistaken,
yeah, I don't know what chickens do. That's the thing. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they do something. Maybe they don't. I have no idea. Because they don't seem like they're destructive chickens. They just sort of walk around and eat seeds. But I don't know if they eat bugs or.
Oh yeah, I remember saying. So I said they would have decimated the worm population, probably.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. 27 months of suffering the guest metal retarding. Damn. I assume you're saying you don't like to suffer through metal's retardation, which, how dare you, is a key part of all metal-related content, including EFAP. Riding my Brumbeater Trungos. Can't do that anymore. Shut.
That's right. You have to go.
You're going to have to create your own Trungos.
Unfortunately. Maybe there will be another Trungo soon.
Maybe.
The IRL 10-year anniversary EFAP that was planned to take place at Trungos, unfortunately, will not be able to happen.
You uncultured swines. The screaming goat transition is clearly a Citizen Kane's screaming parrot to wake up the audience because the film is boring. Yes, it is. Lilo and Stitch 2025 is truly the Citizen Kane of our time.
It was a screaming, wasn't it? It was a screaming,
parakeet, right?
cockatoo, wasn't it?
Oh, I can't remember which
the
bird.
big white ones, right?
Well, it was a sulfur-crested cockatoo, wasn't it?
I just remember
I
it being a
don't know
bird.
enough about. It was. It
Well,
was.
I mean, it's okay with you guys because I mean, it's I think it's an Australian, yeah, because the sulfur-crested cockatoo is an Australian critter, and
Looks
it
like a.
looked like it was that, but
It
I
looks
could
like
be
a
wrong.
cockatoo. Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know.
apparently it
I'm
was a
looking it up
cockatoo.
right now.
It's notable because yeah, cockatoos are very loud. They are very, very, very loud.
After much
Yes, they are.
speculation from people on its symbolism, Orson Welles admitted that he put it in there to wake up any audience members who may be dozing off.
That's so funny.
If it works.
You ain't sleeping through that.
Hawaii has several universities and colleges with robust marine biology courses, and tuition is free for Native Hawaiians. Also play Trails in the Sky. The thing is, all of this gets undermined by her portal gun that isn't, like, it doesn't have any interplay in the story up to that point on the choice of leaving Lilo behind. It's clearly a fucking reshot scene to make themselves feel better after she abandoned them. She could be going to Mars and it wouldn't matter if she's going to be doing that. But you know what I mean? Like, it kind of fucks with all of it, because that would have been incorporated, right, the whole time. She'd be like, well, I'm going to take care of you and I'm going to go to university. That could have been the ending, by the way. But they didn't think about that at first because the portal gun was like a fucking hope.
She wouldn't even need a portal gun. She could just do it remotely. Zoom lessons are a thing. Loads of universities offer them.
No.
But I do like the implication, though, is that like, she's too smart to stay in Hawaii with the silly, stupid Hawaiians.
All the stupid people.
She has to go to California because she's just that clever.
Well, it was mentioned 3 separate times that she is very intelligent. So if you missed that, that's your fault. That's canon.
They made sure we did not forget how incredibly smart she is.
There's something to be said for realism. Hawaii doesn't look like that IRL, but there's movies like Whale Rider that show mundane island life realistic and have artistic beauty in how they show it. That was definitely the point of the conversation. It wasn't exclusively that it has to look idyllic, but could you at least stylize it? Could you at least make it something that when I look at it, I don't get fucking bored and kind of like depressed? You could try. But obviously that wasn't a focus. They were just recording for recording's sake, getting the job done, which is how they do all this shit. I'm learning. Little clapping emoji. Shillings for last week's return to form, the Bloodsport of video reaction content. This week, back to Breakdown Sludge. Strong work, lads. I know, right? Lilo and Stitch needed to be slain. The new one.
It really did. It can't be allowed to get away with existing.
Committed several crimes. Hollywood is now worse than AI, i.e. obsolete.
Obsolete is not how it's. I guess it's not. I get what comes to my mind when obsolete.
Let's just say if you watch 10 AI films in a row, you might be saying the reverse. As in, like, I want Hollywood back. I'll take shit human work over AI, you know? But maybe someday we won't even be able to tell. Maybe it's already out there right now. What if Lord of the Rings was AI and we just don't know?
Hey, I mean,
Made you think.
Interesting.
Rags made this nice button by the sweat of his brow and nobody's using it. To be fair, if I was trying to use it, it would fuck up the visual on Discord every time I click it, I think. So,
oh, would it?
See. Where is sounds?
Because for me, it's the little horn.
Oh no, I could get away with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh wait, that did.
In the original. Yeah, see?
We should have all used it. But you know what? Maybe we were respecting the fact that it just felt like it was a you thing. Especially because it was your voice, which meant it matches well, you know?
Yeah, I suppose that's true. That is true. That is true. And it's always there for later.
Was nothing so nice as that. It's just that I don't know how Discord works, and so I didn't know what the button was, so I didn't.
Excuses.
Yeah, you could have asked at any time.
It would have felt awkward to ask. I didn't want to interrupt the flow.
This is truly the blurst of times for cinema.
The blurst of times. Is that a Simpsons thing?
Yes, it is. It was the best of time. It was the blurst of times. That's the
Monkey.
typewriters, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Monkeys and typewriters.
Is Fringy okay? I was expecting him to be incensed. Has anyone taken any of his belt, scissors, shoelaces? I need constant proof of life. He was pretty upset at Lilo and Stitch remake.
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe it was more of a you getting warmed up. I don't know. Conspicuous is the word of the day, I see. I think it was used quite a bit, yes, conspicuous, about how awful things were.
It's a really useful word.
Yeah. I just noticed another thing they changed. In the live action, it seems that the CIA knows almost nothing about aliens, where in the original Bubbles and the CIA had already met the Galactic Empire before. Yeah, it was somewhat. I mean, he says he's brought in the new one for issues like this, so I assume there's some history there. But in the original, it was very explicit. Next
yeah, they took away Cobra Bubbles saving the planet.
Next is how to save your train your dragon. And yes, that's going to be a whole other conversation about just how everything's going.
Yep.
That's going to make a shit ton of money too.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna make a lot. Yeah.
Do the top 3 chatters on the leaderboards get banned at the end of the stream? That would be funny.
Yes.
Spammers. At Muller, this is the new most warranted EFAP ever. Well, so that's the thing. I was a little worried that it might not be one that people are too interested in, but that's ultimately going to have to take a backseat compared to what we're very much interested in. And I was going to say, at least 3 of us, Platoon, I'm less particular on or sure of, but the Lilo and Stitch was well watched by myself, Fringy, and Rags growing up, and thus this one had to happen. We had to see about this piece of shit. However, it's done. You know, the episode is pretty well received, and it was our, I think, longest of the year. So how about that?
I mean, we got to the cap. It was like 11:52 or something. So
yeah,
we
had
basically
it was like 14 minutes left. So nice and tight there. It's finally done. Jungle Wars Part 2 Liberty on Amazon, inspired by Star Wars and Star Trek, ended up with a 300-page and forgot to include women. Oh, then what's the point? Don't even get to look at women.
Yeah.
But anyway, congrats. This says Lemon character and baby Lemon blowing a party horn while marching. All right.
Lemon character and baby Lemon. Okay. It sounds like...
Oh boy, what have they ruined next? Oh, yeah. In the title, I guess.
Yeah.
Testing Sweet Massives. I think they were just having a look at that leaderboard thing. Broods was surprisingly good. Didn't need a sequel, though. But then the sequel was also surprisingly good, even by surprisingly good standards. Okay. I've heard some good things about the Crudes. You know,
I can't say I've really heard anything about the Crudes, actually.
About the Crudes, yeah.
For science! Massives. The girls losing their parents and their house burning down is similar to what actually happened after the Maui fires in 2023. Tragedy. Ohana means family. Family means somehow Palpatine flies now or something. I think the movie would have been improved by Palpatine hopping in.
He came in and just killed everyone.
A little bit of Sheev. Unrelated, but have you guys ever considered an EFAP D&D stream? It would be absolutely legendary cast of characters. Similarly to the notion of like an arc doing, you know, Barbie or whatever. These are things that are possible, but they're going to be so much lower on the list compared to a bunch of other things we want to do. D&D's not super high up on my passions compared to some other wackier ideas we may or may not have for EFAP. And if we were to do it, it would need to be given a lot of time and a lot of episodes that don't know that we have quite the space for compared to, you know, a one-off like quiz episode or Ultimate Showdown kind of thing. Or Retarded Avengers. You know,
D&D takes time and commitment to do.
Yes.
And then you got to get someone, to GM it. People have to, you know, and then there's an element of learning the rules. It's
if it was
not
like
so easy to just
Community,
pick up.
then yeah, we could, that'd be something. Like if it was like that episode of Community, but it sounds like it's not really.
There are
Like
some
it takes
systems
way
that are
longer.
some systems are much more like narrative focused and casual than others. So depends on what you get into.
Jumba Unchained. Yeah, I guess so. Gantu's pistol is insane, by the way. It one-shots his own ship. It's like a compact fuel rod cannon. Hey, man. Alien tech, you gotta be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you up. Does Pleakley have 1 or 3 assholes? Probably 1.
Probably just one in the middle, right? Like a starfish.
Like that. Hey, I missed the stream. Can you start over? You can just roll it back, man. That's the official way of doing it. Hollywood BS translation. I wanted to put my own mark on the film. They always do. Which is why it'll be interesting,
Yeah, that's why they end up.
the How to Train Your
George
Dragon
R.
thing, because
Martin
it's
kind of
already
did
his
that
mark.
lately. That's but he did say that he did unfortunately say that the first film was being treated kind of like a what was it, a test screening?
I guess we'll find out what that means.
So,
Springy, what's your favorite cat litter brand?
do people have favorite cat litter brands?
Absolutely.
I guess that makes sense. I suppose that follows. I figured that the more relevant one would be what's the best type, since there's different types of cat litter. Like the big sort of pellets, or the ones that more like approximates dirt and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I guess my preference wouldn't matter compared to what a cat thinks, right?
What is the cat
Well,
thing?
the question specifically was your favorite, so
Yeah, but I guess would it be accurate if somebody was getting food for their dog? Would it be accurate to say that whatever the dog shows a strong preference for, and is therefore bought a lot, would be the person's favorite food? You know what I mean? What's your favorite dog food? As a question, it's like, well, I mean, surely the favorite is whatever the dog's favorite is, right?
I think it depends. Like if you want what is best for your dog, then you might have a favorite. And the dog is probably going to be keen on a wide variety of dog foods. And maybe there's something about the way that it helps your dog's health or helps your dog's digestion and stuff that makes it your favorite in particular.
Yeah, I guess that follows.
I don't know how indifferent
Um,
cats are generally to litter box. I would assume that if they just didn't like it, they would just use it. They just wouldn't use it. I guess.
I
They
think
can
that
be little assholes. They'd probably shit on the floor out of spite if they didn't like it. My old cat would have done that.
I think I think cats do have preferences. Something that I've seen recommended is to get litter that is more like approximating kind of dirt. That seems to, but I don't know if that's like universally true. It might be that some cats do kind of like the ones that are more of like the pellets, the smaller pellet ones. I mean, obviously the dirt tends to be more expensive.
Meet the Robinsons was so underrated. It had a really heartwarming story beginning to end, and it's always my favorite out of all the inconsistent slop Disney put out during the 2000s. I've seen it, I'm pretty sure, either once or twice, and I remember liking it a whole bunch.
I haven't
to
seen
see it
it.
again.
I have not seen it
I've
either.
only seen that clip though. Take responsibility for my own life or blame you.
Yeah. It just says hello. Hello.
Oh, hey.
XP farm. Yeah, fair. A glass onion. Is that how we're describing the new Lilo and Stitch? Because I mean, there are layers to it.
Yeah. We got that new one coming. Wake up, dead man, right?
Gonna be so good.
Yeah.
I wonder if the
man,
most
Benoit-
likely.
Benoit Blanc is so great.
Wonder if the most likely suspect will be the bad guy.
Yeah, I wonder.
Wonder if
I do
trick
feel
us
like
again with
people
that.
are bullshitting me when they say that they like Benoit Blanc, though. I gotta say, or like him as much as they
He's
say
iconic.
that they do.
Everyone loves him.
Is he iconic?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
He talks stupid.
I
the
don't know
people watch
what I'm looking
this
forward to
show.
less, the movie or people's attitudes about it. Like they're
Why don't
gonna
people talk
like
about Ryan Johnson's other the show Poker Face? I don't see people talking about that.
Well, give them a few
That's
more
even got a
years, and
second
maybe they will.
season that just came out. So yeah,
They just want him making Star Wars again. It'll be so good. Get that trilogy going.
any day now.
Will Disney have the balls to do live-action Hunchback of Notre Dame and Tarzan?
they ain't doing Hunchback
No.
probably no, and Tarzan probably not either.
Significant
Even
changes would have to be made.
though Tarzan made a lot of money, when it originally released, it was pretty successful. But yeah, Hunchback I'd say is probably no way. And if they did it, it would have to be changed pretty significantly. Yeah.
I would like to see animated versions of films. Most fantasy stories would work better animated. Anime lets you have fantastical creatures existing on the same plane as the characters in the fantasy.
Well, they sort of tried that with that War of the Rohirrim thing, and it was crap. So you still need
Well, maybe the
imagination.
thing I would say is I want more animated films that are like serious, that are not strictly anime. Like it'd be nice if there were more like
Yeah.
Yeah.
essentially theatrical Western produced animated films, because there's a lot of, I mean, anime doesn't really have this problem as a thing, like as a being able to essentially do more serious stories in the medium, because in the West, if it's not basically like a family oriented animated thing, like if it's not family oriented, then it's like Family Guy basically. It's either family oriented or it's very adult. It's a lot more uncommon, particularly theatrically. There's basically like no dramas, strictly dramas. It's always got to be somewhat lighthearted, somewhat comedic, family oriented, compared to anime, which can kind of be basically anything it wants to be.
Let's not get too doom-a-pilled. Everyone swore up and down that Minecraft was an easy billion. That looks like it'll fall short. That's a funny way of putting that.
It still made an insane amount of money, so,
Didn't it make like 950 million or something?
It is
It got
close
real
enough to
close.
$1 billion to be profoundly depressing. I think 50 million
Yeah.
either hit like here or there is not going to make much difference to that.
Well, I'm just curious if it's
What's
close
the
enough to
cultural
actually be
impact?
considered. Oh, 948. So
948 million,
it's
yeah.
just off from being considered to make $1 million if you round it. But like, yeah, no, that's still exactly the assumption and concern. I think everybody who said it would make $1 million, if you had said to them, "Do you think it's possible it caps out at 950 million?" They might have said like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
sure."
I suppose.
So saying don't get too doom-a-pilled is like, no, I think it's appropriate to get doom-a-pilled. It's like, you can go ahead and get a bit doomer on that. Dude, Pride Rock. Jeez, if people keep giving Disney money for these awful demakes, then we deserve them. Also, you dumbos deserve to play DDLC. There is an aspect
do we?
that
Maybe.
the audience truly, they're paying for this, so they'll get more of it, I guess. Time for your annual duck flattening by taking your beloved childhood memories and grinding them into paste to make sludge from. Bone apple tea. Dinosaur 2000 had the logo look like a meteor. They did fun stuff with the logos. Now it's just big.
That was one we watched
fireworks.
as we were young. Dinosaur.
Not technically Disney, but just watched Anastasia. What a great recommendation. I've been sitting on it for too long, but I really enjoyed it. High ranks.
Hello. Yeah, isn't it great?
Great film. What the fuck is this piece of shit? Alright. Yo, another terrible live-action film? Another huge slap in the face of fans? Yeah, it's crazy. You never know what's next with Disney. Could be anything. A voice actor should not be judged by how many voices they can make, but more how much emotion they can place into their voice. I think a VA doing different voices is like actors being able to do different accents. Good, but unneeded. I think being able to... We call that range.
Doing convincing voices is like very difficult, I would say. Like that is a particularly valuable skill.
Yeah, like the fundamental is convincing. Can you convince a person that you are the person that you're not, or at least that you are the character that you're supposed to be portraying? But I mean, it evolves out. It's like a little tree, right, of different abilities, and
Yeah.
the best actor in the world is probably going to be someone who can play multiple characters, do multiple emotions, and the faster they can do it, the better, or the ability to cry or to get immersed, you know, the every aspect of convincing. If there's someone out there who could do every accent ever done and get seriously into every character they can make, they're probably going to be ranking way higher than, and I'm not picking on him for any other reason, it's just like, you know, take Samuel L. Jackson, who has a very reliable singular format typically. Not saying he's never done any other characters, but he's in that sort of crowd of actors where you really like them, but they kind of mostly play one character. You can say the same for Christopher Lee. But they do.
Yeah, when you hire him, you really want him to do like that iconic, strong kind of voice.
Yeah. So
I will say though, it sort of as a kind of a related aspect of that. If you have voice actors in video games, especially if you have big video games, I mean, I would say that Bethesda's guilty of this more than most, where they will reuse a voice actor a lot in a game over and over. And if that voice actor does not do a good job of differentiating their voice for different characters, it can really hurt the immersion, or it can make you go like, "Oh, it's you, the other character that was like this character and like this character." And it kind of takes away from the, the overall experience instead of a voice actor who can, I mean, if we'll use Pedro Pascal as an example, I had no idea that he was the voice of Think the Fox in the Wild Robot. Had no clue because he just did, he truly did a voice for a character.
voice acting has become an easy paycheck for actors when they feel too lazy to be in live action films. I miss the great voice actors of old. We've still got good voice actors.
Yeah,
all
we
around.
have plenty of good voice actors. There's bad ones, but there's always been bad ones.
David Ogden Stiers is a goated voice actor, not only as Jumba, but also Cogsworth in Beauty and the Beast. Rest in peace, legend.
He did a lot of stuff. I think I think we talked about it during the thing, and I had this list of a bunch of his roles. He has done a crap ton of stuff. He has been in all sorts of things.
Who are you? Stitch. Stitch Skywalker. Much better ending. We just didn't get that. Why isn't Jack Black voicing Stitch? No. Crazy decision they made. They wanted to experiment a bit. Since when did chat get a pay-to-win leaderboard mechanic? Literally on that stream was the first I'd seen it. And,
yep, I hadn't seen it before.
I guess it's getting rolled out. Who wins in a fight? Mando and Grogu versus Stitch.
Stitch.
No,
Yeah,
Grogu's got the Force, so...
Yeah, but Stitch is, like, indestructible.
Yeah,
So is Mando with his Beskar armor.
Well, but
true.
there's not a lot Stitch can do. If he's picked up and then dropped into water, he's fucked.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Kind of annoying, actually.
I fucking hate this. I hate it. I fucking hate it.
I'm convinced that Disney executives and Hollywood in general see 2D animation as outdated compared to 3D. The only difference between 2D and 3D is that 3D is cheaper and easier to make.
Well, that sounds like a different reason, and probably the more prevalent one. It's not that it's outdated, it is that 3D is cheaper and easier to make and they're lazy. If it were the case that 2D animation were as quick and cheap and easy, and as profitable, they might consider doing more of it, but it's not, so they don't.
It does feel a bit uncomfortable that Princess and the Frog was like a test of whether or not they were right to leave 2D in the dirt, and then they were like, oh, we were. Like,
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's audiences seem to respond better to 3D than 2D, money-wise, so yay.
Yeah.
Any chance of a post and/or EFAP movies on Rogue One? There was we thought maybe, but it's just too much to do right now. Broadly speaking, Rogue One is it would be nice to say it's a mixed bag. Most of the highlights are in the third act. I really like K2SO. Jin Urso sucks absolute donkey balls. Character just, ugh, they need to fix that shit. But they didn't. Or at least, you know, like, it would have been funny to see what fixes they could do if they had more Andor seasons. I wonder if they would put her history in there or something. When she was with Saw.
3 seasons that they didn't get around to making. What they could have been filled with.
In any case, you know, Rogue One is given marginal improvements and a couple of like awkwardness sort of things thanks to Andor. Rating doesn't hugely change. Maybe we'll cover it someday. It's just with not enough space as it stood at the time. So, normal words, but a fringy guy. Okay. The original voice actor for Pleakley, Kevin McDonald, is still alive, so why the fuck not just get him to do CG Pleakley as well? Makes zero sense.
Because you'd have to use the real actor, because that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to have real actors.
They could have him really, really there, but they can't do slapstick bullshit with him, I guess. He'd be pretty old, I assume. I think he's old. In any case, oh well, they got that other guy. Lilo and Stitch, TV show Experiment 355, aka Swapper. Right, and 602, aka Sinker. 624, aka Angel. Any experiments?
Like an angel. Well, I mean, there's 626 or so, and he probably did more afterwards.
So many.
He's just making these cute little critters who are destructive.
Luxor Jr. was intended as simple proof of concept for investors. Lasseter expected the money men to ask about technical costs, but instead they all needed to know, is the big lamp mum or dad? Emotional investment.
I always assumed that the big lamp was the dad.
Yeah, typically that's...
That was my assumption. My assumption being that, you know, because Luxo Jr., right? So the big one's meant to just be Luxo Senior. That was always the impression I had. I mean, it's a really good short film. Like, it is groundbreaking. It really is. Like, it is difficult to overstate, like, how important that was for Pixar and for 3D animation as a whole.
Fun fact, the last EFAP's title can't be fully written on the EFAP wiki because it has the R word in it. Thankfully, the Hulk jelly page is unaffected. You can't put retarded on Wikipedia? Seriously?
What if... Okay, let's go to Wikipedia and look up mental retardation.
Well, that's probably... I could buy that they're allowed to do that, even with that rule.
It's called... It's called... Okay, it's intellectual disability is the page. Intellectual disability, ID, also known as general learning disability in the UK, and formerly mental retardation in the United States. So it's called... I've never heard intellectual disability, really. I'm just now learning that apparently that's what it's...
Did you think that, like, people still got told, like, sat down in the office and be like, yeah, so you're mentally retarded? Like,
no, first off, that would be... First off, they should, because that's funny. But I never heard that. I guess I didn't... I mean, I'm not, I guess, a part of that, you know,
not
thing,
that specific term, maybe, but, like, yeah, retarded is definitely not being the actual term that you use.
Yeah, I thought they moved on to neurodivergent. Was
neurodivergent?
Cool
yeah, and that unfortunately for them, that has now become its own little slur.
Well, yeah,
as well.
The thing
calling
is,
people neurodivergent.
I mean, again, retarded means slow, right? That's what it actually, but, like, that's not what it means to anybody anymore, because that's how words work. If you make something like the term, that can become the insult itself.
There's actually let me get you a picture of it. I have it here. I need to get one. I'd like to get one and frame it, but the French version of the card delay and magically gathering it just has that on it, and the fact that it's got that critter there on it, that goofy jewel.
So Can I summon retard, or is this an effect thing?
It's a it's an instant. So it's like you could play it whenever you need to. It's not a creature. It's essentially like a spell.
Like I
So
retard you.
you can play it whenever. Kind of. I mean, in the English, it counters a target spell. So whenever
Right.
anyone casts a spell, which is essentially a
I
card,
choose
then
to
you could
interpret this
pay
as
that
summon
instant.
retard, and it's just this
Summon
creature that just goes.
retard. I mean, he's going through the little blue wall. Yeah.
It's
I
like,
need
like
to. I've,
someone's in the middle of summoning a spell and then you just shout retard at them and they get so upset that they stop.
Yeah, it could work. I've been looking forward to this. This one genuinely upset me. Ohana means leave this movie behind and forget it, just like Nani did to Lilo. Yeah. So tell me, my massive blue-haired friend, on what poor, pitiful billion-dollar corporation has my podcast been unleashed? Hey, that's a quote from Lilo and Stitch. Beautiful.
it is, but it's been reformatted for
It
the modern
has.
audience.
How much do I have to pay to get an EFAP triple feature? Anastasia, Prince of Egypt, Hunchback of Notre Dame. It would be an EFAP for the ages. We wouldn't put the three of them into one episode. That would be crazy. But
That would be too much to talk about. Yeah.
I could see an EFAP movie's arc of animated classics. That could be a
Absolutely,
thing.
I can see that.
And I think all of us would very much be happy to do Anastasia as well. That'd be fun. Maybe they'll remake Anastasia at some point, and then we can really get to talking about that. Sorry for sending so many Lilo and Stitch entries. It won't happen again. I thought it would be fitting for this episode of EFAP. Thanks for the breakdown. No problemo. My wife is Hawaiian and grew up there, and I grew up there. Literally, fuck everything about this movie. Yeah, fair. Yeah. As a kid, I enjoyed the subversion of criminal Jumba turning out to be a wholesome, while policeman Gantu is the actual danger. Mirrors Nani versus the CPS. Jumba being actual villain is total non-arc. It's amazing they said that offered them like more chances for depth or interesting like plot lines when he just categorically is a less interesting character. There's less to him. He is just evil. Like he wants to remove love from Stitch. That's his ultimate motive at the end. It's like, okay, all
Your
right.
capacity for love. Oh no, he doesn't sound like that. He says, "Your capacity for love." I don't know why I gave that to you in the first place.
I remember seeing a comment on a video that the Uni of Hawaii has the best marine biology department in the country, and native Hawaiians can attend for free. A lot of people have talked about this, but again, none of it even, like I said, with the portal gun, it just, everything's fucked about that ending. The panic nonsense. If I'm not mistaken, native Hawaiians receive free tuition to college on Honolulu, and doesn't Hawaii have one of the best marine programs? None of this is ever discussed or entertained.
No, I have to go to college in San Diego. I have to. I simply have to.
Has to.
I've got to go there.
I'm surprised they didn't deem Elvis too problematic to use. Someone had said to me that they removed Elvis. They've definitely thinned it out and limited it. But it wasn't removed. It was still there.
They've got some of his songs, but they don't have him being used as like he's the model citizen. Here's some cool things about him that we're gonna emulate. They don't have that.
Yeah, well, removing the model citizen whole sequence had severe consequences, but I guess that was removed because there's no bubbles to say you should be a model citizen anymore. But the run-on of fuckery because of these weird decisions. What do you think of the theory that Lilo is autistic? Normal kid enough to me. I don't see really any reason to think that.
Yeah,
like, a lot of kids are like
young
that.
children and autistic people are indistinguishable. You often can't tell until they start getting older.
Thus far, you have been adrift in the sheltered harbor of my patience. One of those lines so good you can't wait to use it in IRL conversation. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of lines like that in older movies, like Lilo. What's really funny is that the social worker in the remake is the voice of Nani in the original. Yeah, but it's such a what a lame role. Doesn't get to do anything.
I mean, yeah, Tutu was someone's voice in the original as well, but like, what a shit character that should
the granny
not have been a part of. Yeah, Miss Hasagawa.
But oh well. The director said that he found Cobra Bubbles being a social worker to be unrealistic. So basically, he can't believe a scary black guy would be interested in the welfare of children. I mean, it's absolute cringe to say that for any reason that you would have changed anything from the original is that it's unrealistic with the fucking insanity that the new one is, all the crazy nonsense bullshit throughout the entire plotline. And what do you even mean unrealistic? He's like, the fucking contrast within the character of Cobra Bubbles is what makes him so fucking impactful. The idea is like, oh, well, you know, would a social worker really be that big and dress like a CIA agent? Would that really be what happens? It's just like, wow, you're fun. As long as it's a possibility, you're allowed to include it. It doesn't have to be common. I also hid in the dryer when playing hide and seek. No one ever found me either. Top tier hiding place.
It's such a good spot. It's such a good spot. No one even thinks that that's a potential spot to hide in the dryer. Oh man, I still remember hiding in the dryer because it's one of the I was a champion at hide and seek. I was an absolute champion. The dryer is one of those S+ tier spots. I don't know if any place beats the dryer. It might be the best place to hide.
The roof.
Yeah, potentially if you can get out there. Yeah.
Disney does the misunderstood villain trope. How did they screw up their own trope with Bubbles? OG Bubbles was perfect misunderstood villain for parents who dealt with CPS at the time. It was just way more interesting, way more layered. There was lots more to characters that you at first thought were maybe a little bit limited, whereas in the new one it's kind of the reverse. Jumbo could have been maybe as interesting, but then by the end he's just a supervillain. Particularly lame one. Muller & Co. just uploaded my 4th YouTube video on the same topic. Thanks for being such a great inspiration and for your consistency. Thank you for letting us know. Appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, that's really, good to inspire.
Is it just me or does Stitch look more bitchy? Well, we did have a portion where we talked about comparing the designs.
How much worse he looks.
Yeah.
It's the shape of the head, and I know you're EFAP talking about the shapes of heads again, but like the way that his snoz is just like smooshed in and it's flat, and you don't have that angle to it. It really does. It just looks worse, and the colors are just dulled out a bit, and there's no eyebrows on him. It just looks worse. What a terrible decision.
Ohana means we need more women in STEM. Gotta have her own agency. She can't be held down by family. Ooh. Lilo, please send me an angel. Experiment 624 appears. Lilo, no, not that one. Assuming we'll see plenty more experiments in the live-action sequel. It's gonna be great.
Oh boy, think of the merchandising.
Just rewatched the OG Lilo and Stitch after having watched it only once. Actual masterpiece. So much so, in fact, it's cracked into my Disney top 10. Yeah, I'd say it's easily in top 10. As to
I think so.
Exactly where it places it gets tough.
It's interesting to watch it again and to be like, oh, like it's underrated, and it still has positive connotations, but it really is underrated.
Yeah. Why does Nani have to be physically present at a college campus to get a degree? I'm like 75% certain that SDSU has an online marine biology course and she can complete the physical requirements in local Hawaiian branches. None of that thinking. Stop right there. Let's be honest, with all these things considered, it had nothing to do. She used it as an excuse to get away from Lilo. That's what actually happened. She was like, if I can just, frame this well enough that it makes it look like I'm not so much abandoning my sister, I can kind of... She was just a piece of shit in the new version. Talked to a frog, ended up playing Frogger. Oh, I'm talking about when Stitch arrived, I guess. Because he kind of did. If only they gave it more money. Disney theory. I don't know what that means exactly. Didn't this already get a shit ton of money? Ugh. I was always under the impression that the human characters were just really dumb, and that's why the unconvincing disguises worked. It's what we talked about. It's because it's animated that you can get away with that. It's easier on the eyes. It's more believable when you see the style. When you do it with those CG fucking disgusting monsters, it's so fucking strange. Because it was weird, right? We had some people saying that that's like nonsense when it's absolutely true. Style and tone are super important to being able to like reach some level of cohesion. Can't get away with them putting on disguises as horrifying CG aliens, but at the same time, their solution was fucking lame. Maybe you shouldn't have made it live action in the first place. But then again, of course, they'd be like, "Are you insane? Look how much money we're making."
Yeah. You're making a
Yes,
lot of money, aren't you?
True. Yeah. Whether or not that makes it to $1 billion, we'll find out. Mission Impossible, by the way, like essentially topped out at 400 million. Like,
Ooh. What was the budget for that? Was like 200 and something, wasn't it?
300 to 400 million dollars.
Oh god, even worse.
Just an absolute crash.
You know, Fallout did pretty good. Just saying,
Yeah, made
Fallout did
nearly
pretty
$1
good.
billion. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What's a battle? Real quick shout out to the Soundtrack Show podcast. If y'all haven't checked it out yet, you're doing yourselves a disservice.
Soundtrack Show podcast. All right.
They want to be live action without putting in the work. I stand by that as well. If you truly are going to adapt something like Lilo and Stitch, you have to do a shit ton of prep work. You have to account for like everything, move things around and stuff. The way they rush these live action versions sucks so hard. To the point where they just make these baffling fucking decisions and they don't anticipate the consequences at all, and you end up with your sludge. Michael Clark Duncan would have been a fantastic Cobra Bubbles rip. Well, I agree. But Ving Rhames is right there. He can do it. Doesn't have to do an action scene.
Clark Duncan. Oh, that guy, yeah.
He died a while back, but he was fucking awesome in everything he did.
Oh, yeah, he died in 2012, yeah. He was only 54.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of, like, concern and confusion about how he died, because it's just like, how did that happen? Because, I remember trying to read about it. It was something like it was very much a huge surprise. But unless I'm mixing up with something else, but huge shame. I dread the idea that my childhood is about to be plundered and ruined by talentless hacks. These studios can't go out of business soon enough. Well, Disney ain't going out of business anytime soon, I'm afraid.
So yeah,
No.
It's doubly depressing because plundering your childhood is the thing that makes it least likely to go out of business. So it's like it is sustaining itself like a vampire.
Yeah, 100%. But more is made for kids. It's okay if it's bad. Yeah, I love that, man. Those fuckers come out for every one of these. They always just need to let you know how it doesn't matter if kids shit is bad. It's like, fine with me.
Yeah, and they'll praise it and they'll say it's great and how wonderful it was, and then the moment you criticize it, actually, it's okay if it's shit.
I think they made
Glad I'm
Lilo.
not on that team.
I think they made Lilo screaming a meme here because in the original she does a funny scream before Nani chases her in the house. Hilarious, isn't it? You're probably right, actually, because that is a fun part of the film. You know, the framing of her standing there, the scream, and then the runaway, and then they were like, let's have some more screams.
The actress is so good at screaming. I'm really thrilled that we get more screams.
Another decent length EFAP, nice. So yeah, I mean, nobody's calling that one short. Disney side.
That's right.
Disney side is in control of the anti-good equation. I get it. The anti-life equation's so funny. I've been working on a series talking about Born Again because I hate it, and just saw that the show was ranked the 92nd most watched, with Agatha all along beating it at 45th. It's so funny. I'm glad it's not working for them. That is I will say that's a little bit insane to me that Agatha all along is that significantly more watched than Born Again. It's like, holy shit, guys.
That is legitimately surprising to me as well. I agree, because Agatha basically has her character in a relatively small minor role in another show that nobody remembers. But Daredevil, that's 3 seasons of quite highly rated and revered TV that only goes back. I mean, the last season was 2018, I think, so it was not long ago. And yet Born Again came out and no one gave any shit.
Nope.
And they didn't even, like, when it started, even the first episode, from what I remember, did not pull-in numbers. So it wasn't like people watched it, saw that it was shit, stopped watching it, so the overall show did not get many viewers. It just never had them. They never even turned up for it. And so trying to figure out why that is, I don't even know where
I
to
mean,
begin.
it's been hypothesized. I don't think I don't think that this is a bad thing. I think there's some truth to it, that it's brand damage in general. Disney's
Mm.
label on a lot of stuff has got a lot of people feeling less confident about their quality. And you can slap, Minecraft or Lilo and Stitch on things, and they'll sell just by that alone. But even Daredevil, I feel, is kind of sucked into that well of pessimism that so many people have when it comes to Disney stuff. And then I guess there is superhero fatigue that has set in now. It's gone on long enough without keeping up a certain level of quality in particular, that those two things are kind of bumping together.
A little bit. Isn't it
And
about?
it's just unfortunate that Daredevil was kind of there to pay the price of that. But actually, I'm good, because fuck Born Again. It ain't real Daredevil.
Isn't it about time to release the live-action EFAP 50? Yeah, we'll have to get Disney on that, I guess. Elvis was a model citizen. I guess the model citizen dies on a toilet halfway through a shit whilst eating a peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwich. I don't think they
None of
meant
those
that
mean you're
part.
not model citizen. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess you can do all of that while being a model citizen. That was just unfortunate. It's
Yeah,
probably the
that is
parts where he's
unfortunate.
doing the drugs and very poor diet and work hours that were killing him. Those are probably the things that I didn't want to recommend. But that is prime model citizen.
Dude was a machine, a music machine.
Fun fact, anime ruined Lilo and Stitch before this movie. Lilo leaves Stitch for college, and Stitch reverts completely. Wiki, Stitch Season 1 plot. To be fair, Lilo going to college is reasonable. It's just you have to... I don't know.
Isn't she a bit young?
Not at that age. Presumably this is way later. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Elements of this movie sound lifted from the anime, like the old lady caretaker and the father marine biologist. I don't even know about that. Nani is short for Punani. Right. Was Elvis even a part of the live-action remake? No one I watched this movie has mentioned Elvis in the remake. His music turns up even in universe, but like it's not an element that's really as explicit at all. That's what I meant by like he's there, but not as much as he is in the original. Which is regrettable. But what are you gonna do? Turns up in the soundtrack, and I think they listen to him in universe as well. Did they say the name Elvis at any point in the movie?
I don't know if they do.
No, I don't think. I don't think they do.
I'd assume not as well. Still going, you massives! Fantastic. It is. So much
There's
for
a lot
trying.
to talk about, as it seems.
So much for trying to cut down on long episodes. Well, we never cut down on if a conversation is happening, and if the subject isn't yet to be completed. So,
If it needs the time, it gets the time.
I just know the single mums who took their kids to see this were like, "Oh, I totally get it. I'd let the state take my kid if I couldn't get insurance." I don't even know.
That's
I don't know,
funny
man.
that they decided to do the health insurance. The agent swoops in on the predator. That's actually wild.
We could cover this if you give her up. It's like, okay.
If you give her to us,
destroy the child. The sun is coming
drive
up.
a knife into that child's heart.
The FAP's still going. A proper long man stream. I approve. Long man, good. Oh yeah. If they didn't, if they just didn't understand what the OG did right, I could just see cynically rehashing the movie. This degree of damage seems far more measured. I understand how you could get there with a lot of these things, like how it feels deliberate and everything, but I mean, we already remember he said like we'll have more emotional depth in our characters. It's like, oh, you're just retarded.
Yep. Never attribute to malice what retardation can explain.
Retardation can explain a lot.
I'm like 20 minutes behind. Somehow, did they just remove every authority figure in the movie? Well, they've added one, but like they're useless. So I don't know. Really depends on your definition. Hang in there, man. All these changes make sense when you understand that the new writers are Marxist activists pushing an agenda, promoting individualism and destroying the family unit as a core principle of Marxism.
No, it takes some intellect to actually be an activist, dyed in the wool, and an ideologue. These people don't have intellect. It's so much easier to explain when you realize that what the person has written is their own life experience. That's what it is. They left home, they left their family, they went to college in California, they thought it was great, and they think that that's great for everybody else. It incidentally has the effect of destroying families, but it's not a concerted effort to do that.
I 1000% believe that they looked at the original and thought, yeah, it's a neat film, but it's kind of sad, isn't it, that Nani doesn't get to have her own story, that she is essentially just there for Lilo and that's it. She doesn't really get to be her own person. We can fix this in the new one by giving her own hopes and dreams and, keeping the story's integrity the same, but at the same time giving Nani something to strive for in her career with her hopes and dreams. Meanwhile, Lilo will have hers. It's going to be great. And you just stand there like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you saying these things? And then they'd be baffled. They'd be like, what do you mean? We're creating more depth. Calm down.
This is for you. Yeah, this is empowering and stuff.
If I was live action, I'd be an abomination. Airing causes people to make stupid decisions. Was the remake writer's approach towards the original? Don't you dare care about this. That'd be stupid. Yeah, because that's a quote from Jumper in the new one. Good stuff. Not just a decent length, but a good length. Praise the dawn. Thank you all for properly ripping apart this regurgitated filth of a movie. No problem. Hey guys, just finished watching the original for the first time, so I'd be able to watch this EFAP. Amazing movie. I'm so excited to watch the new one. Hopefully it's just as good. Oh god, yeah, don't. That was an easy non-recommendation. But also an easy hyper-recommendation for the original. Hi, Rags. How much do you hate children in general?
Oh, a lot. Really, a bunch. I mean, many.
All right, there you go. I'll add a further 40 minutes to the Little Mermaid remake if it would erase that Scuttlebutt song and Awkwafina herself from existence. Well, unfortunately, the Little Mermaid stands as it is in reality, the remake. Anyway. I'll rewatch the original every once in a while and don't think about it. Springy, what is your preferred brand of tuna? Mine is John West.
I don't think I have a preferred brand of tuna. Tuna's not like my favorite fish.
It's I guess a lot of it depends on what kind too, because you get like the stuff you get out of a can, which is like just cheap tuna. But then if you get like ahi tuna or something like that, it's really good. It's just like its own, league of its own in a way. But yeah, tuna's got a lot of variety.
It's salmon is probably my favorite fish, I think.
Fair.
Probably salmon.
Salmon's really good.
Going uni of Hawaii is free for blood Hawaiians. Yeah, but they don't bring this up. They don't have to think about it. Read Sir John Glubb's essay, The Fate of Empires, about the life and death cycles of civilizations. Obsession with going to college is a symptom of terminally dying nations. Meanwhile, this movie... Well, I mean, going to college can be excellent for you. It just depends.
It can.
Yeah,
I think the concept is like... They call it elite overproduction, I think. I don't know if it comes from that book or not, but the concept of elite overproduction is when like you set aside this particular ideal and you basically say to everyone, leave home, go to college, get a degree, and you will be part of the new cognitive elite of society. But then actually you've overproduced those people for the jobs that are available to them. They come out having been very expensively educated with nothing to do, and then they get very angry, and then they start revolutions. It's sort of like the pattern that repeats itself. I don't think there's a risk of an overabundance of marine biologists, but maybe they will be the source of the new revolution. Who knows?
They will assist the fish. The fish will take over. They'll rule the world.
Fun fact, Hawaii actually has more than one college that has a marine biology course. Not enough to get her in it. Ohana means drowning in student loan debt.
I'm trying to think, could you work into them? There must be a way to work into the script why she has to go. I know they didn't do it, but Like if they took the time to say, well, she can't for reasons study in Hawaii, and she has for reasons to leave to wherever the fuck
They
she
said it
goes.
was a full ride. She got a full ride to the San Diego one.
He's so smart.
So I guess that was their excuse to try and be like, see, she has to go to that one because it would be free.
That I don't know if they were, because like you need to have that moment where they say, well, can't you go to the Hawaii one? And then she needs to say like, oh
Yeah.
If only I could, but I can't for
How
whatever
many miles
reason.
would I be from Lilo?
Yeah,
That's the case.
I don't know. I'd have to be on the same island as her, possibly, or maybe the same continent, same side of the planet. That's unacceptable. I gotta go to Mars. Can you guys please allow the Oreo, Mr. Lips himself, to guide you through the absolute downfall of iDubbbz boogie style? Oh, not an impossibility. I don't know how that would look, but not an impossibility.
Friend of the channel, Nicholas de Oreo, telling us all the lore that we don't know.
With his many voices, I'd be on board with this.
Yeah, that's right.
Ohana equals the opposite of Rings of Power half-foots.
Harfits.
Nobody goes off trail. We'll eat.
Nobody walks alone.
Don't stop. Jesus.
Boarding the plane, and Nick Fury appears. Oh, to get Nani into the Avengers, maybe? Why not? She's pretty smart.
She's very smart. I know because the film told me.
Angry Mr. Incredible mean. Ohana means family. I know that meme. That's an Incredibles 2 meme, isn't it? Despite the fact that film sucks. I would like to congratulate Lego Joker for its better utilization of Zach Galifianakis as a voice actor. Well, that is something I was trying to imply. He's not completely worthless. He's good in some stuff. It's just that was awful in Lilo and Stitch. Just awful. Obama means family. Honestly, I'm surprised.
I don't think so. I think Obama's daughters are like distancing themselves from the parents, from what I hear.
Damn.
But I don't know what's behind it. But I guess not even Obama means family.
Honestly, I'm surprised Nani and Lilo weren't DI hires. I give Disney that, I guess. Well, you know, Lilo and Stitch, right? It's all based in Hawaii. It's good shit, or at least it was. Having access to a teleporter, yet still deciding to move somewhere else for college while ditching a loved one happened in America Chavez's comic too. Oh yeah, I guess because she can get anywhere she wants whenever she wants. College in San Diego?
Stargate.
I grew up in San Diego, and there are 3 colleges, USD, UCSD, and SDSU. Also, out-of-state tuition is like $50K, and if she can get a scholarship there, she can get one in her home state. Well, yeah, it was mentioned a free ride, but also they never want to account for that, because it's going to be difficult to answer that in the narrative, and they just can't be bothered. Are you guys going to check out the King of the Hill reboot? No.
No?
Judge from the 2 silences, that's also no.
Oh, no. I don't think I've ever seen the original, so definitely no.
I've seen some of the original. I like it.
Yeah,
but
I've seen some of the original, but it feels like one that would be worth going through, like properly.
Come on, don't forget the other big movie, Knives Out 3 trailer dropped. Yippee! Ugh. We'll get to that at some other time. Surprised we haven't gotten
Is that the last one, or is he still making more?
More than likely the last one, yeah. I assume he's going to want to do something else.
Well, that's something at least. Oh, no, it's bad, because it's going to be released upon the rest of the industry.
I kind of liked him being in stasis on Knives Out. He just stayed in that portion, but now the worst is when he gets other people's IPs. Oh, gee.
What'll he infect next?
Surprised we haven't gotten a live-action remake of Bambi yet, thank God. On the way, probably.
Yeah, it's on the way.
Slept through the first 7 hours of this stream. I expected you guys to be finished or finishing when I woke up. 4 hours later, I was so wrong. Rob Schneider is a stapler. Rated PG-13.
Rated PG-13.
The power of the long cannot be contained. True. Except for 11 hours and 45 minutes. That's where it contains. Thanks for the wonderful bedtime story. Good night. And dang, was this a long boy. Truly, it was. The longest episode in year 7 of EFAP.
I think so, yeah.
And
I mean, it was
is-
basically capped out, so
that is the final message. So thank you all so very much. We appreciate it, and see you in the next thing, whatever it may be. But for now, bye bye.
Bye.
yeah.
Later.
Goodbye, everyone. We will see you later.